Ricky Baker en el beat. La nueva era. Yo la vi pasar, me enamoró su mirar. Ese día conmigo bailó, yo sabía que quería más. Todo su resplandor, lo que muestras es solo amor. Es tan fuerte que solo vos te adueñaste del corazón. Baby, tú dame de tu amor, dame lo que necesito, esos besos. Baby, tú dame de tu amor, no importa si tú me robas 1000 besos. Ella le dice a todos que tiene novio, que soy un baby, que su vida adorno. A ella le encanta cómo siente mis besos, si siente amor en esos labios bien hechos. Lo más lindo que he podido tener es el amor que me ha dado esa mujer. Desde chiquito empezamos de besos y nos funcionó al parecer. Baby, tú y yo somos como esa peli que no va a acabar. Baby, tú y yo somos los tortolitos en cualquier lugar. Baby, tú y yo quedamos en el cielo para no regresar. Porque tú y yo somos esas estrellas, siempre brillarán. Baby, tú dame de tu amor, dame lo que necesito, esos besos. Baby, tú dame de tu amor, no importa si tú me robas 1000 besos. Lo que he soñado ya se ha vuelto normal. Te tenía en mis sueños, ahora en vida real. No te mando flores, quiero darte mucho más. Quiero darte el mundo entero y un poco más. De Panamá pa' Puerto Rico, lo que quieres, mamita, yo lo multiplico. Te traigo Fonsi pa' que cante despacito, o traigo a Romeo y bailamos pegaditos. Sé que tú eres tímida, fuera de lo normal. Una mujer de esas es espectacular. Como lo mueve allí, como lo mueve allá. Como tú quieras más, donde tú quieras. Sé que tú eres tímida, fuera de lo normal. Una mujer de esas es espectacular. Me has bendecido con cada vez que me besas. Las mariposas se adueñan de mi cabeza. Baby, tú dame de tu amor, dame lo que necesito, esos besos. Baby, tú dame de tu amor, no importa si tú me robas 1000 besos. Yo la vi pasar, me enamoró su mirar. Ese día conmigo bailó, yo sabía que quería más.
Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. Hope you're all doing well. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, please. Wow, this month is going fast, isn't it? I feel like we're just speeding through. So I don't have a whole lot of things to talk about today, just a couple of updates. So let's get to it. Thank you to, let's see what we have here. Thank you so much, Lottie, for the super sticker. And thank you so much to Naughty Doctor for the super chat as well. And Naughty Doctor says hello to Elaine, Churchy, Gwen, Anna, and Sistren. Thank you so much, Naughty Doctor. Always appreciated. Let's see. Risa, this is danceable. Yeah, I got a new song. Oh, do we have a member? Congratulations to Olivia Johnson on 10 months membership. 10 months of listening to me talk on this here podcast. Thank you so much. Oh, I appreciate you all so much. Okay, let's get on to it. Okay, we're gonna get onto it when my slides load, because they have not loaded. Oh my god, what happened? Oh, I tell you, doesn't matter how long you do something, sometimes you still get glitches. Okay, give me a sec, folks. What's going on here? What is going on here? Oi, Cue the music. give me, give me a sec, folks. Oh. Okay, finally, my slides have loaded. Okay, before I even get into royal news, I am so sorry, but I could not talk about this. Y'all, have you all heard about this crazy incident with the submarine that went down to do a tour of the Titanic? Now, I was aware that um there were companies that did these type of extreme tours, and I was also aware that there was I believe there was actually another company, not this Ocean Gate submarine, but another company that did like science research, like actual research down the Titanic, and sometimes they would allow people to come with the teams on the missions. And yes, it would cost upwards of about $250,000. But I wasn't aware of this so-called Ocean Gate company. And this is the company responsible for this submarine that has gone missing. Now, they said that there was about 40 hours of oxygen left in this thing. And the last I checked, I think we were down to, we might be down to maybe like 10 odd hours or something like that. But even if there was oxygen, there's probably a number of other things that could have happened. And now more and more is coming out about this submarine, and that the whole thing was pretty much just an accident waiting to happen. So somebody reported that OceanGate, which is a company responsible, fired an employee a few years ago after he filed safety complaints against them. The then employee specifically said the sub was not capable of descending to such extreme depths before he was fired. Lockbridge, the guy's name, initially verbally expressed concerns about the safety and quality of the Titan submersible to OceanGate executive management, but those concerns were ignored. He identified numerous issues that posed different safety concerns and offered corrective action and recommendations for each. He was particularly concerned about non-destructive testing performed on the hull of the Titan, but he was repeatedly told that no scan of the hull or bond line could be done to check for delaminations, porosity, and voids of sufficient adhesion of the glue being used due to the thickness of the hull. He was also told there was no such equipment that could conduct a test like that. Now, mind you, before you do something like this, they've likely told you to sign your life away, basically in a waiver, but they haven't even created a sub that was safe enough. So the article goes on to say, paying passengers wouldn't know or be informed about Lockridge's concerns, according to his complaints. They also wouldn't be informed that hazardous flammable materials were being used within the sub. Lockridge expressed concern about the Titan again, but OceanGate didn't address those concerns and Lockridge was fired. And if he probably came out and said something or talked to a journalist, they probably would have sued him. If he hadn't already signed an NDA, he probably did. At the meeting, Lockridge discovered why he had been denied access to the viewpoint information from the engineer department. The viewpoint at the forward of the sub was only built to a certified pressure of 1,300 meters, although OceanGate intended to take the passengers down to depths of 4,000 meters. Lockridge learned that the viewpoint manufacturer would only certify to a depth of 1,300 due to the experimental design of the viewpoint. supplied by Ocean Gate, which was out of the pressure vessels of human occupancy standards. Ocean Gate refused to pay for the manufacturer to build a viewpoint that would meet the requirement depth of 4,000. Now, here is a graph of, you can see at the top where the ship is, right? Then you see at like level 3, you got scuba divers there. I've done a little bit of scuba diving, but nothing deeper than 20 meters. And quite frankly, even that was terrifying at times. Like, if you're not with an instructor that knows what they're doing, things can get really ugly real quickly. Quite frankly, even on the surface, let alone you start going down a few meters. And then I think you've got, is that a whale at level? Yeah, yeah. That's a sperm whale at level 4 at 4,000 feet. The wreck of the Titanic is 70, what's that, 12,000 feet. That is insane. Now, the company's advisor was going off on Twitter saying, I hope to get a few hours of sleep, wake up and see the very positive responses from the US government in my inbox. If I don't, the whole world will know the names of the people who did not do their jobs. Listen, sir, this is very tragic. And listen, the responses online have been nothing short of just eat the rich. I don't take that view. At the end of the day, lives were lost. I don't think it's anything to make fun of. One could debate about the ethics of, spending that much money to go somewhere, where people died and all of that kind of stuff. But I think for him to be going off like this at the US government online, I'm sure the Coast Guard is working on it the best they can. And at the end of the day, this is public money being spent on private what billionaires paid a private company to try and do. So I just thought it was just wild, and the reactions online have been just as wild. Right. Um, let's see. Roseanne, you said the Titanic is a graveyard; it should be left alone. The sea spirits have spoken out on yeah, you going to their resting place. And a lot of people have said this, like, this is a resting place, this is a graveyard. I think unless they are genuinely doing some kind of scientific study, or they're doing, they do like sonar scanning, things like that, it should just be left alone. This is your first time hearing about this. It has been everywhere. Like, you literally, good for you for escaping it. Oh, Lisa, it's your 59th birthday. Happy birthday. Round of applause for Lisa, everyone. Happy 59 years around the sun. Where's my round of applause? Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Let's see. Oh, and happy birthday to Dolores as well. Round of applause to you as well. Like Sadie said, who knew billionaires are so stupid? Like, they didn't know all of this. Well, sometimes I think if you think that your money can just buy you anything, you just throw your money at it, and they think, oh, I'm invincible. And to be honest, if you did pay that amount of money, you do expect a certain level of safety. But somehow what these people were doing just slipped through the net. I think one of the people who was on this was also on Jeff Bezos's rocket. Let's see. All right. On to the next. I just thought that was just such a fascinating story. Very tragic. But I think they need to rethink whether or not they allow people to do things like this just because you've got a lot of money, because it's a big risk. Right, just to clear something up from yesterday, back to royal news. Back to royal news. Um, so I slightly misreported where the source of that Dior rumor about Meghan signing with Dior came from. So just to correct that, the source was actually an article from the Daily Fail, right? So that was where it was first posted. This troll, Royal News Network, who's met Kate, she then reposted it onto her Twitter. And if you look at her Twitter figures at the bottom, don't know if you can see it there, but that at the time that this screen print was taken, it was viewed 186 times. So sorry, 186,000 times, 186,000. So the Daily Fail posted it. She posted it on her Twitter, and that's when it started to go viral on social. So trolls helping the trolls. So I just wanted to correct that. And you know what? If Meghan does sign with Dior, I hope it's a fat check, a real fat check. You know, Jennifer Lawrence signed for something like 20 million, and then she renewed the deal again for like another 15 or 20 million. And Meghan is 10 times the star of Jennifer Lawrence. And good on Dior for seeing the potential with Meghan and not only giving her free clothes, but also supporting her all this time. They have tweeted numerous times about her, Harry, and also Diana. So Dior knows how to make a good bet. And I'm sure that they were very excited to be working with Meghan from the very beginning. Church Nelly said, I know several better ways to spend a billionaire's money. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I've never been a billionaire, and I probably never will be a billionaire. It must affect your psyche to have that much money. Because I don't know of anyone on this planet who has that much money and is just okay. There's always something to these people. Like the money's never enough, but then they always also seem scared of losing their money. There's just always something off with them. I don't know. If there's a nice billionaire out there somewhere, please tell me. But I feel like we don't talk about the ways in which money affects you, especially that level of money. That's just a completely different level, and what it does to you, and the way in which some of them, I think, end up having this weird kind of god complex. Not too different from the royals. Going back to the royals, I saw this picture. Oh my god. I mean, a picture says 1,000 words, and you know something. If the woman who was a mistress to your dad despised your mother the way that Camilla despised Diana, of course she's going to feel some kind of way about your children because your children are a reminder of their grandmother. And I mean, just look at this picture of Camilla looking at George. And some people might say, oh, it could have just been the camera caught her in this moment. When Camilla wants to smile, she does smile, especially when she's around horses. Got the brightest smile on her face. This is very, very chilling to me. And I would hope that William and Kate are doing more to protect their children, but it seems like if we're going by their relationship with the press, that doesn't seem like the case. They're buddying up to the likes of Murdoch, taking money from Murdoch, keeping people like Piers Morgan close. Think about how close Piers Morgan is with Camilla. And the way that Camilla was willing to sacrifice Harry and Meghan. And she's probably gonna, or if things don't blow up in court, keep that relationship with the likes of Piers Morgan very close. So what do you think she'll be willing to do to William's children? Because it seems like if she was willing to sacrifice Harry, and I'm sure if William had supported Harry she would have tried to throw William under the bus also. What more William's children? This is just very, very chilling and disturbing to me. And I just hope, because Harry has opened a door, or a little door of escape, for these kids, they can walk straight through it and out of this institution. Because I just don't think that there is anyone who is genuine who can survive this institution. You have to choose the institution. And I don't know, maybe the Cambridge children, or some of them will, maybe they won't. But if they don't want to, I hope they leave this crazy house, because this is no way to live a life, being surrounded by this level of toxic energy. Nobody would choose this, and those children haven't chosen this. I hope they can be given an option to escape. And didn't Camilla actually recently wear Dior? Didn't she wear Dior Ascot or something? Yeah, she was singing wearing Dior. Oh no, honey, it's not gonna happen. It is not gonna happen for you. Like, nobody's gonna go running out to buy Dior because Camilla was wearing Dior. People will save 3 paychecks to go and buy a bag because Meghan was wearing that bag. Carmen, Dior should should ask Meghan and Harry to sign with them, do a press conference to say the fake UK story launched this signing. Well, if they didn't ask before, they're certainly going to ask now, because the amount of free PR that Dior has received over the last couple of days alone. Jeez. Yes, Dorothy Ross. Having good health comes before having loads of money. And quite frankly, nobody really needs billions. I mean, if you're spending £250,000 to go and look at the Titanic, you got too much money. All right. There was a article in Grazia that I wanted to read. Let me just grab it. Actually, before we get onto that, I will quickly get on to this instead. Kelly Osbourne. Kelly Osbourne came after Harry. I don't even know what Kelly Osbourne is doing nowadays. She only popped up on my feed because she came after Harry. But she was on somebody else's podcast, lambasting Harry in a rant. So the podcast host, Jennifer Welch, brought up the issue of Harry's non-existent role at Charles's coronation. And Kelly Osbourne responded by saying, I don't care what my effing son did. Sorry. Let me start again. Welch said, so this is a podcast host said, I don't care what my effing son did. If I was getting crowned, he would sit in the very front row. And then Kelly responded by saying, I think Harry is an effing twat. But she didn't stop there. She went on to say, I think he's an effing twat. She repeated it again before saying, he's whining and whinging, complaining, woe is me. I'm the only one that's ever had mental health problems. Like, my life was so hard. I don't remember Harry ever saying once that he's the only person that's ever had mental health problems. She then went on to say, everybody's life is effing hard, before going even further with her attack. Boy, what I find interesting about people like Kelly Osbourne is they seem to think that Harry and Meghan aren't allowed to speak upon their issues, and yet she herself, half of her career has been off of talking about her own issues. She talked about how the reality TV show with her family, which was one of the most dysfunctional things I've ever seen on TV, by the way. I mean, this was in the very early days of reality TV. They were the original dysfunctional family on TV, and how that led to her going down a very dark path. She's also spoken about how she doesn't talk to Amy Osbourne, her sister. So everybody else is allowed to talk about their issues. Everybody else is allowed to talk about what they've been through. But Harry and Meghan aren't. And of course, Kelly is the daughter of Sharon Osbourne, who has said some pretty nasty things about Harry and Meghan also. I think Sharon Osbourne actually said Meghan isn't black. And Sharon Osbourne, of course, is friends with Piers Morgan. So I wonder if they've all been having mean girl chats, 3 ways on the phone, talking about Harry and Meghan. I wonder if Sharon Osbourne might be the bitter momager also, because Honey never really got her kids on that Kris Jenner train. Because listen, say what you want about Kris Jenner, she's the best momager that ever lived. It's like her and Matthew Knowles, the king and queen of making sure that your kids get that money and fame. And I wonder if Sharon sometimes is a bit bitter about that, because she seems to just come after everyone. Anywho, oh, and let us not also forget that Sharon Osbourne said this.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
I'm sorry, what was that?
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
And she said that thinking that she was insulting Donald Trump while totally insulting Latinas. Like there aren't Latina doctors, Latina lawyers, or people of that heritage that work in many, many different jobs. But even the ones who do, who are cleaners, thank you very much for your service to our community. Like, it's a job, and a very noble one also. And it's just that casual way they say things like that and think that they're not being offensive. It's wild to me. Wait, a girl needs to focus on her own problems, for real. All right. Let me read your comment, and then we will go to the last article that I wanted to read out. Yeah, the consort as an influencer. No. No. Let's have a look. Carmen says, from side piece to queen, it's still unbelievable to me. Yeah, well, it happened. It happened, and it's not like there's been mass protest in the British public about it, so she's going to stay there. Yeah, Lola. Kelly Osbourne has been insensitive many times, as has her mother. Yeah, dysfunctional is an understatement. I still remember that show. It was fighting, like physical fighting, not just verbal. I don't know who would agree to do something like that. All right, last thing I wanted to mention was this article from Grazia. So there was an article titled, "There's a new Meghan Markle smear campaign on the rise. The latest bombshell news items about her have all the marks of a targeted hate campaign." So this is by Georgia Aspinall. She said, "They say bad things come in threes, but for Meghan, that feels less of a superstitious happening and more of a targeted attack. This morning, following the news that she and Prince Harry had parted ways with Spotify, it was reported that Meghan's heavily rumored deal with Dior is not happening, and at the same time, she's being torn apart for apparently faking interviews on her Archetypes podcast. Cue the endless tirade of sensational headlines. Meghan Markle is not signing big money Dior fashion deal despite Spotify acts. One today reads, why Spotify's big bet on Meghan fell flat. Another states, grifter Meghan may have faked her podcast interview. A third states. Reading them and the many similar, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Meghan is in the midst of a full-blown career meltdown. The stories about Spotify report rumors that she and Harry were sacked for not producing enough content. The headlines about Dior infer the luxury fashion house have fobbed Meghan off, much to her dismay. Those faking archetypes interviews claims further perpetuate the fraud narrative birthed by tabloids way back when the smear campaign against her first began. So allow us to clear up a few things. First, Dior. Contrary to the headlines implying there was some kind of snub, both the Sussexes and Dior have come out to say there was never any truth to the rumours of a sponsorship deal between them. A source at Dior told The Telegraph that their team are nonplussed as to how the story came about, while a spokesperson for Harry and Meghan confirmed that the rumours simply are not true. They were always speculation in the first place, and yet somehow, by merely confirming the speculation was misplaced, Meghan is at the center of unnecessary headlines, inferring she's been rebuffed by a brand she's known to adore. Next, archetypes. The award-winning podcast that once unseated Joe Rogan's Spotify's consistently most listened to podcasts, Top Spot would, as per very normal podcasting production, have a large team that contributes to bringing content together. That's what producers are for. They produce content. And yet, when you break down the headlines saying Meghan faked interviews with guests, you'll see they're simply referring to the fact that producers on the show sometimes conduct interviews with guests and Meghan would dub her voice over questions afterwards. Anyone involved in podcast production might tell you it's not out of the norm for producers to help interview people. But I don't think that's even the case with archetypes. And we've even seen in some of the podcasts, the person was in the room with her. Anyway, it goes on to just clear up some of the rumors and explain, why we do seem to have this renewed attack. And it does seem like that. It's like we were kind of cooling off, and then the WME deal was announced, and now it's just kind of gone back to almost like where we were 4 or 5 years ago. Having said that, we also have to remember that we are in the midst of the court case, and there is the possibility that those 30 journalists who have been named, including Piers Morgan, may be dragged into court to take the stand. So I think that's also why you are seeing this huge smear campaign really be amped up again. Alrighty. I think that is going to be all from me today. Didn't really have a whole lot to say. Thank you as always for coming and supporting, folks. Better days are coming, and now that Meghan signed with WME, I'm sure there's loads for us to look forward to. We just have to wait and see. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot the other thing. Yes, Invictus. Oh my gosh, almost forgot. Invictus. Yeah, I'm not going to Invictus anymore. I've decided to change my travel plans. And if I was to actually still go to Invictus, I'd have to go from the country that I plan on being in, which is it's far away from Germany. To fly from that country back to Germany for like a few days and then fly back again, it would just be too much. Originally I had like a collective of countries that were near Germany that I was going to go to, and then stop over in Germany and then go to another one near Germany. But anyway, my travel plans have changed. I'm no longer going to Invictus. And so for that reason, I am going to give away my ticket for Invictus. And now what I haven't decided is how I'm going to give the ticket away. I would like to give it to a squaddy, obviously. So if you know that you are going to be on the ground and you still don't have a ticket for the opening ceremony, it is for the opening ceremony, and it's a pretty good seat as well. Pretty good seat. If you know that you're going to be there, just keep listening to the podcast, keep an eye on my social media. I think the way I might do it is I might do like a Google form where people just, I don't know, they send me, what inspires them about Harry and Meghan, and then maybe send me their social media tag just so I can check that there's someone who's active in the squad. Or even if you don't have a social media, as long as I can see that you are somebody that supports Harry and Meghan. So I'm still trying to figure out a way how to do it. Maybe you can give me some tips, but I will be giving my ticket away. I'm not selling it. I am giving it away. And what I might also do, because obviously, like with me, travel plans change, I might shortlist maybe 2 or 3 people. And then the day before, once I see that those people are on the ground, then do some kind of raffle. So we'll see how it works out. But please do give me your ideas. And yeah, we'll figure out how I give my free ticket to Invictus away, because it's a very good ticket. It's quite close to the front, and I'd love to actually give it to a squaddy. And do remember, if you are going to Invictus, Amazon are now sponsoring all of the tickets. Aside from the opening and the closing, they're sponsoring all of the tickets. So you can just show up and get a ticket. You don't have to pay for tickets to go and watch any of the events. Amazon's paying for everything. Okay? But we'll see who gets my ticket to opening of Invictus. Of course, I will still cover Invictus, even though I'm no longer going. But I've changed my travel plans. I just want to be somewhere tropical. My whole feed is, this one's in Greece, that one's in Italy, Bali, Indonesia. They've dropped all restrictions now. I think they were one of the last countries. And I'm just like, no, I want to go somewhere tropical, folks. So yeah, there is a free ticket for Invictus opening floating around. So just, yeah, keep listening and you could get that ticket. All right, folks. Oh, Frederica, you said I'm on the ground 45 kilometers from the spot. Okay, we'll keep listening and maybe you'll get the ticket. All right. See you tomorrow, folks. Ciao.
Yeah, Ricky Baker en el beat. La nueva era. Yo la vi pasar, me enamoró su mirar. Ese día conmigo bailó, yo sabía que quería más. Todo su resplandor, lo que muestras es solo amor. Es tan fuerte que solo vos te adueñaste del corazón. Baby, tú dame de tu amor, dame lo que necesito, esos besos. Baby, tú dame de tu amor, no importa si tú me robas 1000 besos. Ella le dice a todos que tiene novio, que soy un baby, que su vida adorno. A ella le encanta cómo siente mis besos. Se siente amor en esos labios bien hechos. Lo más lindo que he podido tener es el amor que me ha dado esa mujer. Desde chiquito empezamos de besos y nos funcionó al parecer. Baby, tú y yo somos como esa peli que no va a acabar. Baby, tú y yo somos los tortolitos en cualquier lugar. Baby, tú y yo quedamos en el cielo para no regresar. Porque tú y yo somos esas estrellas, siempre brillarán. soñado ya se ha vuelto normal. Te tenía en mis sueños, ahora en vida real. No te mando flores, quiero darte mucho más. Quiero darte el mundo entero y un poco más. De Panamá pa' Puerto Rico, lo que quieres, mamita, yo lo multiplico. Te traigo Fonsi pa' que cante despacito, o traigo a Romeo y bailamos pegaditos. Sé que tú eres tímida, fuera de lo normal. Una mujer de esas es espectacular. Como lo mueve allí, como lo mueve allá. Como tú quieras, más, donde tú quieras. Sé que tú eres tímida, fuera de lo normal. Una mujer de esas es espectacular. Me has bendecido con cada vez que me besas. Las mariposas se adueñan de mi cabeza.